Most plant protein tastes like shock, bloat you by midday, and fall apart the moment you try to cook with them. I know because I tested dozens of them. I'm lactose intolerant and casein allergic, so whey was never an option for me. As biotechnology, I wasn't willing to just grab whatever had the best packaging. I needed to understand the formula. Tropically protein stopped me because of one thing: the 3-blend amino acids designed that actually close the gaps most plant protein leave open. By the end of this, you will know exactly what it is, what the science says, and whether it's worth your money. And the question I get most often of plant protein cuts straight to it.
Whey is King Fight Me asks, can plant protein actually build muscle as well as whey? Or is that just vegan marketing?
There is a 2024 study published in Medicine and Science in Sport and Exercise that tested exactly this. Researchers found that a blended plant protein stimulates post-exercise muscle protein synthesis equivalently to whey in resistance training adults. Not close to whey, equivalent. The key word is blended because no single plant protein has a completely amino acid profile on its own. Pea protein is high in lysine and branched chain amino acids, the ones that directly trigger muscle repair after training. But it's low in methionine. Brown rice protein fills that gap perfectly. Combine them and you get a profile that covers what whey covers. The size is there. The myth is that plant protein can build the muscle is exactly that, a myth. Tell me in the comments, did you believe plant protein couldn't compete with whey before just now? Because most people still do, and the research has moved well past that. Now, here is the problem: most people hit before they even get to the science, and it's the reason most plant proteins end up at the back of the cupboard.
Plant protein makes me bloat asks, every plant protein I've tried wrecks my stomach. Is there actually one that doesn't?
When I was rotating through plant proteins, before finding one that worked, bloating was my biggest problem. Training daily plus 12 hours shifts, a bloating gut is a minor inconvenience. That's your whole day gone. The reason most plant proteins cause bloating is that they dump a dense, hard to digest protein load straight into your gut. Tropically protein includes bromelain and papain, proteolytic enzymes from pineapple and papaya that partially break down the protein before your digest system even has to work on it. It is what that means in real life. The digestion work is specially done before absorption. Most plant proteins skip this entirely. That means reason people who normally bloat on plant protein often don't bloat on this one. That is not a marketing claim. That's basic enzyme chemistry. Wait, let me say that again. The enzymes are doing the digestion work before your gut even sees the protein. That's the difference. Now, here is the ingredient most people scroll straight past on the label, and it's doing more work than almost anything else in the formula.
What even is pumpkin seed protein asks, I keep seeing pumpkin seed protein on labels. Is that actually doing anything useful?
More than most people realize. Tropicalins use 3-blend, pea isolate, sprout brown rice, and pumpkin seed protein. And the pumpkin seed is the one that gets overlooked. It adds natural fiber that slows digestion and extends satiety. It also contributes magnesium, zinc, and iron, 3 macronutrients that are chronically low in people who train hard and eat plenty forward. As a biotechnologist, I pay close attention to the macronutrients side of any formula, not just the macros. The sprout brown rice is also worth noting. Sprouting reduces phytic acid, the compound that blocks mineral absorption in standard rice protein. More bioavailable protein, better mineral delivery, slow digestion. The formula is generally thought through. And here is where it gets really interesting, because the ingredients most people never read past the macros panel are doing some serious work in this one.
Sugar in my protein shake asks, how do I know if my protein powder is secretly full of garbage sweeteners and sugar?
Flip the label and look at two things: the sweetener source and the sugar grams. A lot of protein powders use refined sugar or artificial sweeteners that spike your insulin and work directly against fat loss. Tropicalin use stevia, glycosides, and monk fruit extract, both 0 calorie, 0 blood sugar spike, no insulin response. The sugar content per serve is 0.6 grams. That's essentially nothing. It also includes acacia gum as a prebiotic fiber, which quietly feeds your beneficial gut bacteria every single serve. And there is turmeric, especially curcumin, which has a solid evidence behind it for reducing post-exercise muscle inflammation. These are not label decorations. They make sense in a recovery formula and research backs them up. If you are finding this useful, a subscribe helps more than you think. It's free and it keeps this kind of content coming.
Protein only works as a shake asks, can I actually cook with protein powder or does it just turn into rubber?
I tested this across every format I actually use day to day, because I'm not committing to a protein that only works one way. Mixed with cold water, smoother than any plant protein I've tried. No clumping, no chalk aftertaste. Stirred into coconut yogurt within protein puffs. Texture stay intact. Doesn't go gummy, chocolate flavor integrates without overpowering. Mix into corn cake batter. The cake still came out with the right consistency. The powder held up the heat without running the tester. The versatility matters to me because my schedule is unpredictable. A protein that only works as a shake is a protein I will stop using within 2 weeks. This one has stayed in my daily routine because it adapts to however my day is running.
At when should I take protein asks, does protein timing actually matter or is that bro science?
Timing matters, but not in the obsessive way Jimmy Coulter sometimes suggests. On training days, I take 125 gram serve in 350 ml of cold water between 30 to 45 minutes of fitness training. That window is when amino acids delivery is most relevant for muscle repair. On rest days or during a morning rush, I fold a serve into coconut yogurt with protein puffs. 2 minutes, completely breakfast. Near zero sugar. I don't use this twice a day as a baseline. If I'm in a heavy training block, 2 sessions or consecutive days of hard strength work, I will add a second serve mid-afternoon. That second serve acts as an appetite anchor and stops the evening overconsumption that quietly kills most of fat loss effort. One serve, timed well, is usually enough. Here is the honest version of this. I'm lactose intolerant and casein allergic. I train daily and I work rotating 12 hours shift. I don't have room in my routine for a protein that doesn't actually work. Tropically solves a real problem. It mixes clean, digests without bloating, holds up in actual food, and is baked by a formula that reflects real amino acid science rather than marketing copy. The protein density sits at 70% per serve, which is high for any plant protein on the Australian market. That's the transparent version of how this works. Subscribe for more honest science like this.